Nashville SC are pursuing Nottingham Forest striker Sam Surridge. 20 Premier League appearances last year. He scored 9 in a championship the year before that with Nottingham Forest, was integral to them getting promotion. In his career, he has 52 goals in 213 games, and he's a young player. 24 years old. He's exactly the frame that I spoke about before, and that's been echoed by a couple of TFTV members that have talked about what they look for in a Nashville SC striker, Austin in particular. But he's that big body striker that you can throw the ball up top to, and he'll bring it down and sort of lay it off to his teammates. I've seen clips of him there because Nottingham Forest, they play in the Premier League at least, and even in the championship, they played long a little bit. And they would play the ball long to him. He'd cushion the ball with either his thigh or his boot, and was just able to lay it off. And that'll be great for the way Nashville play with the runners they have in Leal, Mukhtar, and Schaufelberg. It'd be perfect for him late in games. But he's 6'4" or 6'3", British, playing for Nottingham Forest from Slough, United Kingdom, and he's only 24 years old. So a young striker, and Nottingham Forest bought him for £2.5 million from Stoke City in January of 2022. Beyond the season and the championship, he hasn't really performed for Nottingham Forest because they got promoted and then they sort of gutted their whole team and brought in a bunch of new talent for the Premier League season because you can't. Surridge was sort of taking a back seat this past year in the Premier League. He hasn't really had the confidence and the consistent run minutes to perform on the platform that Nottingham Forest has given them. So for Nashville to buy him, I don't think they should pay any more, if not a little bit more, than what Nottingham Forest paid for him. You know, they only paid 1.85 million euros. So I think that's around 2.2 million. I wouldn't want Nashville to go over $4 million at the absolute most, but he should be able to get brought in for $2 to $3 million, in my opinion. If we get him for that price, that'll be excellent because he has a lot of sell-on value with him being young. And this might be a temporary move for him to come to MLS, bag a bunch of goals, and get a move elsewhere in Europe. And if that is, so be it. A DP a spot open. We'll get some good money for him. And, we're not just pegged with having an older striker like Pookie with no resale value. So a quick breakdown on Sam Surridge. I keep wanting to call him Sturridge. If he performs like Daniel Sturridge, man, we'd be in business. We'd win everything. So first I'll explain the XG and what XG is. It's a statistic that they use to evaluate teams and players with, you can sort of correlate it with how good of a finisher they are. Very simply, XG, which is expected goals, is probability of a shot that results in a goal based on the characteristics of that shot and the events leading up to it. So it's out of 0 to 1, with 0 being a terrible chance and 1 being a guaranteed chance to finish. But the synopsis of it is you want a player, a great finisher, will perform at or above their XG. For example, Hani Mukhtar last season, MVP season, scored 23 goals on 19.43 XG. He outperformed his XG. He was only expected to score 19 goals with the chances that fell to his feet. He scored 23 with those. That would show, you can draw a correlation that Mukhtar, the data backs up that he's a very good finisher. And, the data backs it up. The eye test backs it up. Another example on the other end of the spectrum, Bunbury. We saw what the hell he did midweek this season. 2 goals on 3.7, almost 4 XG. That's a poor finisher. He's 2 goals below. He's expected to score 4 goals. He only scored 2 goals out of those 4. So if you expound on that and make it to where it's close to Heine, out of 20, he would only score 10 goals. Out of the 20 goals he's expected, he would only score 10. I say all that for Surridge in 2021, 2022. That's the best sample size we have because he didn't play many minutes in the Premier League last year. So you can't really bring that into this equation. But year before last in the championship, he had 9 goals on 11.74 XG. So much better finisher than Bunbury. Not as good of a finisher as Mukhtar, but he's a decent finisher, a clinical finisher. And that is against championship competition. They say it doesn't really take it into account, the competition. But if you're facing championship and Premier League goalkeepers versus coming over to face MLS goalkeepers, your XG should bounce up just a little bit. just off the level of competition alone. If I were to prorate that out, I would say Surridge over here in Nashville in the MLS, he would probably perform at or around his XG, which would be excellent for Nashville. Company that with his big body frame, his aerial ability is not really the best, which is odd enough. He doesn't win aerial duels as much as he should. And I'm not sure if that's because the championship is a much rougher league and he was really young. So hopefully that would improve once he would get to Nashville. Excuse me. But his clinical finishing is going to be amazing for Nashville SC. With assists, he provided 3 assists in that year also in the championship for Nottingham Forest. 3 assists on 2.71 XA, which is the same as XG. It's just X assist. So he can create some chances for his teammates, which would be very good for Nashville also. Relieve some of that creative burden off of Mukhtar and Leal. And I just think he'd do extremely well if Nashville were able to pick him up. He would slot right into the side, and I think it'd be great. Here's some other statistics for Surridge. So this is in the same season, that 2021-2022 championship season. For the percentile rank versus forwards, other forwards in that league, he ranked in the 97th percentile, which is extremely good, and non-penalty XG. So that's his XG not taking into account penalties. Mostly better than all other forwards in that respect. 97th percentile in shots taken. So he takes the shots when he has the chances. He's not one to try and lay it off. He's a little bit selfish in that respect. That's something you'd want in a striker. His non-penalty XG plus his XAG is in the 96th percentile. So top of the league in that. And in his shot creating actions, he's in the 79th percentile. So he creates chances with his movement. Well, I would consider him more of a poacher that also is able to run the lines and run the channels a little bit. But he's able to, in the clips that I've seen of him, he's able to make space for himself in the box, which is very, very important. If Nashville tries to go to a more position-oriented or a possession-oriented system with the diamond and try and control games a little bit more, which they have been doing in the past few weeks, they just haven't been able to convert those chances. A striker like Surridge, who's a poacher in the box, that is able to create space for himself, be an aerial presence because he stands at 6'4", is very important in breaking down teams that will be in their low block. You could cross the ball into him, which Nashville has a big tendency of doing, is flying down the flank, throwing crosses in. He has a soft enough touch from what I've seen to where he can interlink and combine with the other forwards, whether that's Mukhtar or Leal, combining with him in the interplay. And once again, he just creates space for himself, and he's clinical when he has that space and the ball falls to his feet. So, like I said, in the aerial duels, he's not the best aerially, which probably, in my opinion, might have more so to do with the championship. That's a really physical league. He's only in the 69th percentile in aerials, one nice. And he's good on corners. That'd be with the clearances. He's 87th percentile in clearances, so he would help us on corners defensively if we put him in the box to defend corners. And touches in the attacking penalty box, he's in the 94th percentile. So he's in the box, he's a presence in the box, and he likes to have the ball in the box. I think he would do extremely well with Nashville SC. We should be able to get him in for around $2 million, $3 million, in my opinion. Any more than that would be a reach because, he hasn't really performed well beyond what he did that first season with Nottingham Forest in 2021-2022. So if we can buy him for what they bought him for, I think they will be happy with it. Y'all let me know in the comments, Nashville SC fans, are y'all excited about the potential signing of Sam Surridge? Where do y'all think he would end up with Nashville SC, whether starting or playing a bench role when he comes in? He'd definitely probably be starting, in my opinion, but y'all let me know. Y'all also let me know how well y'all think he'll do with Nashville SC. Goal tally and such with Mukhtar. Very, very important get if Nashville SC is able to get him.